Suda Aoi, a 19-year-old university student, introduces himself while seriously working grilling brand new Sanjen pork sausages. He enthusiastically promotes them as perfect for busy mornings, tired evenings, and loved by kids, suggesting customers add them to stir-fried vegetables, curry, or enjoy as snacks with drinks. Suda offers a sausage sample to a child and his mother, who happily confirm its delicious taste. Customers eagerly grab the sausages, thanking Suda as sales pick up. A co-worker praises him, noting that whenever Suda is around, things always sell well. Suda reflects on his skills, crediting the manager for teaching him how crucial it is to give helpful suggestions to customers, like recommending products by highlighting their appeal to kids. He recalls being clumsy and lacking skills at first, but after gaining experience in various part-time jobs, he adapted well anywhere he worked. Customers express gratitude for his hard work, and co-workers compliment his communication skills. Despite the praise, Suda admits he gets nervous around girls and is bad at dealing with them. His co-workers tease him about this, and he awkwardly agrees. Then, a female co-worker smiles knowingly and tells him she has a special request just for him, leaving Suda surprised and curious. The female co-worker leans in close, asking if Suda has any interest in summoning to another world. He stammers, surprised, admitting he's seen it quite a bit and finds it popular. She smiles warmly, holding a magical staff, explaining he'll be sent to another world to save it. Suddenly, Suda finds himself standing on a glowing summoning circle, bewildered and panicked, demanding to know what's happening. The woman, now revealed as the manager, approaches confidently. He calls out to her, shocked, as the summoning magic swirls around them. The manager transforms before his eyes into a radiant figure named Nostra, the sage of prophecy, who offers her powers to him. Suda desperately pleads for her to wait, overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events. The scene shifts to a ruined summoning circle surrounded by fallen armored figures. Suda sits on the ground, dazed and confused, questioning what just happened. A voice calls out to him, and he nervously responds, still trying to grasp the reality of his new situation. A towering armored figure, flanked by shadowy beasts, demands if Suda is the summoned hero. Suda, wide-eyed and sweating, struggles to grasp the reality, questioning if he was truly summoned to another world. The armored warrior raises a massive axe, shouting for Suda to die and warning that hesitation means defeat. Suda frantically pleads for mercy, insisting he is not a hero as the warrior charges at him. Suda scrambles back, narrowly avoiding the deadly axe. The armored figure repeats that Suda is not a hero, questioning how he can explain the magic circle, summoned magic, and unfamiliar clothes. Suda, trembling and desperate, wonders why the manager put him in such a perilous situation but admits he somehow escaped. He urges himself to calm down and talk, sarcastically asking if the armored figure knows about current fashion trends, revealing the absurdity of his predicament. Suda switches into customer service mode, enthusiastically explaining how his clothing perfectly suits the southern climate with long sleeves to protect skin from the sun's heat. The armored figure questions if a hero would really converse with a demon, doubting Suda's ability to fight given his poor physique. Suda nervously realizes he somehow covered up his identity as the summoned hero and asks if he can leave, but the armored men warn him to wait since they came to kill the summoner. The armored figure removes his helmet, revealing a woman with horns and long hair. She tells Suda there is something she wants to ask him, leaving him startled and unsure of what to expect. The woman introduces herself as Fafnir, Dragon Core, the Demon King's army commander. Suda is shocked to learn she is a girl, his surprise evident as she calmly holds her helmet. Fafnir orders that Suda be taken to the Demon King's castle. Suda stands behind bars, stunned and speechless as the heavy gate clangs shut, sealing his fate. Shock floods him as he realizes being summoned and immediately captured in the Demon King's castle is possible. He questions how a summoned hero could survive without battling along the way. Locked behind bars, he resolves to survive first. A commanding voice orders silence, startling him. He recalls that both he and another were transported to this other world together, clutching his bag tightly. Searching the cell, he finds his phone, tablet, and wallet broken but no supplies. Desperation grows as he wonders how to survive and demands special weapons or abilities, hoping such powers exist in this world. Suddenly, something emerges from his bag, catching him off guard. He spots a mysterious book lying on the stone floor and kneels to examine it closely. Confused, he questions why it's a notebook but senses its importance. Holding the book up, he reads the title aloud, Abyssal Box? Excitement replaces despair as he declares it might be a special item. Realizing summoning stories require special power, he feels hope rising, convinced this book could be his key to escaping the demon castle. He suddenly recognizes the notebook as one he drew in elementary school, filled with original weapons, items, and monsters inspired by RPG games. Embarrassed, he questions why the book is here and how he can use it, calling it his dark history. He wonders if the strange text is a name or item name. Reading aloud, "Say the name and let it appear." Feeling too embarrassed to say it, he hesitates until a friend dramatically shouts the item's name, "Kensuo Toro!" The water bottle materializes before him. Confirming the item's power, he pours water from it, amazed that it creates infinite water, though he reflects on how simple the concept is despite the deluxe effect. Locked behind bars, he contemplates if he must say the item's name each time he wants to use it. Suddenly, a commanding voice calls to him from outside the cell, apologizing for the wait and ordering him to come out. He nervously complies, glancing around the grim torture room filled with ominous tools. The young man nervously admits there are many questions he wants to ask the armored girl with horns and a tail. He blushes, overwhelmed by how unexpectedly cute she is beneath the intimidating armor. He recalls how the soldiers around him wore monstrous helmets, making her appearance even more startling. Realizing she's a girl with horns and a tail, his anxiety spikes further. The armored girl leans in, demanding to know what he's staring at. Frightening him until his mind blanks, he stammers, introducing himself as Aoi, calming down as she explains that despite being a girl, she is a demon and he should think of her like a customer at a supermarket. He nervously recites a long, complicated name, while she acknowledges that everyone calls him Soda. Soda cheerfully claims he just happened to be passing by when she asks why he's here. The armored girl's expression darkens as she warns that this is no place for unrelated people. She reveals they received information about a hero being summoned and launched an attack. Soda clenches his fist, wishing he had more information, knowing it's dangerous to remain silent. The girl demands to know what he is hiding. Soda pleads for her to tell him why they are looking for a hero. She sternly explains that heroes are dangerous because they cause harm without gaining any benefit, and that demons like them are natural enemies who attack humans mercilessly. She insists she cannot ignore those who harm them, underscoring the peril of the situation. The armored girl declares she is here to protect the demon world and will defeat the summoned hero no matter what. The young man realizes how heroes appear to demons and fears the consequences if this is discovered. She abruptly ends the questioning and insists she will reveal her true identity. The young man confidently explains they are a general store collecting strange items to solve problems. He commands her to come forward, surprising her, then reveals he simply placed an item on display. The armored girl demands to know what he did. The young man explains the item is a precious stone used to summon the hero, which broke after the summoning. He shows the broken item to the armored girl, who listens intently. The young man asks if she understands, and she nods thoughtfully. The armored girl nervously admits she gets flustered when the opposite sex is close. The young man urges her to calm down and not give up, reminding her the opponent is the customer. He introduces a tool that lets one see into another person's heart, promising it reveals all kinds of information like interests, age, personality, abilities, and secrets. A profile book page introduces Fafnir, a dragon born on November 1st, known as Lord Fafnir or Faf. His serious personality is noted, along with his hobby of training on days off, a special skill in detecting lies, and his role as Dragon Squad captain. His likes remain a secret. The profile asks questions about his desires, dreams, and favorite word, which include Hero's Head, Save the Demon World, and Unrivaled Bravery. The recent worry listed is a challenge, specifically that it will destroy one of the human bases. The young man nervously holds the book, overwhelmed, and compares it to a profile book for elementary school girls, wondering what he should say or do. The armored girl stares at the book in confusion, unable to understand the writing. She accuses the young man of not knowing Japanese. Shocked by his silence, he hesitates, trying to explain, but she cuts him off, accusing him of trying to deceive her with his words. Raising her massive spear threateningly, she declares she will make his body unable to lie. She lunges forward with a fierce attack, screaming as she swings her spear. The young man screams in terror as the weapon slices through the air near his neck. He realizes his neck was just barely spared from a deadly blow named Kubiono-sha, the fool's head axe. On his knees, the young man listens in horror as the armored girl warns him that from now on, he won't be able to lie. She explains that if he lies, a mark on his neck will activate, causing his head to separate from his body. He gasps, overwhelmed by the threat. The armored girl narrows her eyes and says she will ask him again, demanding the truth. Still on his knees, the young man looks up nervously as the armored girl looms over him, her tail swaying behind her. She harshly demands to know who he really is, accusing him of having a problem with his own smell. The tension hangs thick as he struggles to respond under her intense scrutiny. The armored girl gasps in shock, unable to believe how the young man knew her secret despite her efforts to hide it from everyone, even him. He smiles knowingly, revealing a document that shows her recent condition and a threat to destroy a human base. She clutches her spear tightly, overwhelmed by the revelation. The young man confidently presents a small jar labeled UNK99, declaring it the perfect solution to her problem. She questions the ridiculous name, while he explains he created the cream to combat his own horrible smell from elementary school. He asks if she worries about such things, adopting a customer service tone. The armored girl grimaces as he points out how sweating under armor makes it stuffy and stinky, and wonders if others laugh or think about her smell. He insists the cream stops all kinds of smells by reducing sweating and killing odor-causing microbes, emphasizing it is fragrance-free and colorless. She looks uncertain but intrigued, sensing it might be effective. Offering the cream for free, the young man asks if she trusts him. She is stunned and questions why he would be kind to a demon. He grins, replying that it's because he is a businessman, leaving her to consider his unexpected generosity. The young man assures her that if she is happy with his products, that's all he needs, emphasizing that humans and demons are no different as consumers. She realizes this means the Fool's Neck axe won't activate against him. He confidently asks Lord Fafnir what he'll do next, holding up the jar of UNK99 cream. She accepts this, but with a cautious tone, gripping her weapon tightly. She demands proof that the product really works before trusting him, but he eagerly offers her the chance to try it. He thanks her sincerely and insists she is the one who must apply the cream to him. She hesitates, still unsure. Despite her doubts, she agrees to pour the cream herself, though she warns him not to aim the axe at her. He nervously complies, still uncertain about the situation. The young man tries to calm her by reminding her of his experience working part-time at a massage parlor, implying he knows how to apply the cream properly. She considers this, asking where she should start, while he nervously awaits her decision. His heart races as he nervously holds the jar, admitting his hands are shaking. He worries aloud about touching such a sensitive spot on the opposite sex, lacking experience despite his part-time job. She warns him sternly not to do anything naughty, but he insists he knows. She contemplates quietly as he begins applying the cream. Surprised, he realizes the cream is cold, but she encourages him to keep going. He marvels that the unpleasant smell is fading. She reacts with a mix of tension and relief as he continues spreading the cream carefully. He is overwhelmed by the sense of immorality but accepts it as necessary for survival. She admits she was heartless before, urging him to do the other side next. He struggles to keep his composure, unable to look at her directly while continuing the application. As he applies the cream on her other arm, she looks shocked and vulnerable. He questions what is happening, confused by her reaction as he gently presses on her skin. She suddenly notices her skin feels soft, her expression shifting between surprise and vulnerability as he carefully touches her underarm. He catches her reaction and wonders if this is the effect of the cream. She pants softly, questioning if this is already the end of the sensation. He accidentally splashes some cream, apologizing frantically, while she notes the smell has vanished, leaving him shocked. She sits down, clutching her arm, admitting his explanation seems true despite feeling something off. He reads a note explaining the smell disappears, but the person becomes temporarily sensitive. He thanks his younger self for figuring it out. Behind bars, she declares he must be imprisoned for possessing a powerful item dangerous to humans. He protests disbelief and suspicion, but she insists she cannot let him leave with it. The woman with horns tells the young man in the cell she dislikes pointless killing and will spare his life, but blames his lying attitude for his predicament. He nervously laughs it off and asks if she can remove the neck marks. She solemnly admits owing him thanks for an item he gave her. As she turns to leave, he calls out, surprised, and she replies with a casual "see you later." The young man sits on the floor, relieved he somehow avoided death. The woman walks away down a dim hallway, clutching the item. He reflects on how demons and humans are no different as customers, despite his humanity. Meanwhile, a masked demon slayer rushes toward him, shouting that he will be killed, calling him a cursed being. The woman stares intently at the item, thinking about how, even though he is human, it holds significance. The young man, lying down, examines a book and a device showing a 20% likability rating. He wonders what it means and questions the strange man nearby. A cheerful woman with braided hair explains that as the young man's likability level increases, the number of items he can use will grow, allowing him to raise someone's likability to make them his ally. He recalls being summoned to the Demon King's castle, knowing nothing and unsure what to do. She tells him he must go to another world and save it. He resolves to do whatever he can now. A determined young man clutches a book while a serious woman with long hair and horns gazes forward, her expression resolute. Behind her, a figure in dark armor with a horned helmet stands silently. The words urge him to survive the other world by mastering the best items and skills, then return to his own world. If only he had an item like that, the young boy recalls enjoying drawing imaginary items back in elementary school. The girl who praised his silly drawings was his first love, and the beginning of that love was something trivial. One day, he accidentally found a profile book popular among girls, sparking gossip about who liked whom, causing surprise and denial among the students. The true meaning behind the praise shocked him deeply. He was called a stupid boy who draws childish things. This incident made him uncomfortable talking casually with the opposite sex. Heartbroken, he created a see-through scope book that revealed a person's true feelings and affection level. After becoming a junior high student, that book became a dark memory, so he sealed it away in a box hidden deep in his closet. Now holding a notebook renamed Book of Abyss, he lies back in disbelief that he was also transferred to another world. He wonders why he has this notebook tied to his power. Embarrassed but resigned to use it, he questions what the manager wants him to do. Learning he must go to another world and save it. Sitting behind bars, he resolves to find powerful allies and gather information about this new world. Suddenly, a demon girl scolds him for not noticing her, startling him as he wonders how to increase her likability. The young man recalls that the Dragon Squad captain, Fafnir, brought him to the demon castle. He obtained her profile yesterday, revealing her likability at only 20%. He reflects on her serious and responsible nature, how she tries to listen despite being his enemy, and notes that she is also cute. He admits that without being summoned to this world, they would have no connection. Memories flash of them together the previous day. Suddenly, the likability rating plummets to 0%, and Fafnir angrily accuses him of planning something against her. He insists it was customer service, panicking as he tries to think of an excuse. She warns him that with the mark on his neck, he cannot lie to her, or his head will be severed from his body by the fool's head axe. Embarrassed, he awkwardly explains he wants to increase trust with customers. Fafnir demands he say it clearly, while the young man laments that since the elementary school incident, he struggles to talk to girls. Guards stand behind her as she orders him to come out, declaring his punishment has been decided. The young man strains to drag a massive iron ball chained to his ankle, gasping in exhaustion. He pleads for the heavy weight to be removed, promising he won't run away. The demon woman with horns scolds him for being late, reminding him they haven't even reached the gate. She explains the ball is a rule, and despite his apologies, she stands firm, arms crossed, exhaling wearily. She lifts the iron ball effortlessly, telling him he can't be helped. Surprised, he asks why, and she explains that in training, they use weights 10 times heavier, so this was light. He marvels at how easily she lifted it, while she teases him for being a human and praises his captaincy of the Dragon Corps. His tail wags nervously as she playfully shakes the ball. The young man looks out a window, noting the demon castle is dim and dark, unsure if it's morning or afternoon. The demon woman explains that unlike bright human lands, the demon world is covered by thick clouds blocking sunlight. She announces they've arrived, and he looks around, still adjusting to the gloomy atmosphere. Inside a simple room, the demon woman points and declares it will be his room from now on. She adds he will work as her servant, helping with various tasks. The young man, shocked and confused, asks what he should do. She assures him that after discussing with the demon king, it was decided to keep an eye on him as her servant, leaving him to absorb the reality of his new role. The young man excitedly discovers a book, hoping it will help him understand this world better. However, he quickly realizes the text is incomprehensible, written in letters from another world. A demon woman appears, identifying the book's author as Sage Nostra, a figure famous among humans. He recognizes her image in the book and calls her the manager in surprise. The demon woman explains Sage Nostra was an extraordinary being with immense magical powers who could travel across multiple worlds. She was a great sage who left behind an ancient prophecy. When war brings disaster, a summoned hero will arrive to save the world. The demon woman reveals that the place they are in is a church tied to that prophecy, explaining why they came here. The young man is shocked to learn the store manager is really from another world. The demon woman casually mentions how humans are weak, with heroes often fleeing battles and few soldiers remaining. The young man blushes and trembles as she stands very close to him, admiring her scent and long eyelashes. He admits it's the first time he's seen such a cute person up close. Suddenly, the demon woman accidentally presses her chest against him, causing him to panic and stammer. She quickly apologizes profusely, while he bows repeatedly in embarrassment, overwhelmed by the unexpected closeness. The demon woman accuses the young man of deliberately touching her, lowering his likability by 20 points. He panics, vehemently denying it and insisting he would never do such a thing on purpose. She then accuses him of not even wanting to touch demons, dropping his likability by another 40 points. He desperately protests, claiming it's not true and that he wouldn't touch it himself. Suddenly, she blushes and stammers, overwhelmed by his innocence, calling him a cute girl herself. She raises her spear angrily, shouting for him not to say such things, startling him. She swings the spear, but he backs away nervously. The room suddenly goes dark, and the young man wonders why. The demon woman explains the lamp has run out of oil, and they need to fix it before continuing their conversation. The young man resolves to handle the situation, declaring it's customer service time. He holds up 2 cards, confident he has an excellent item to raise her likability, which has dropped by 40 points. He commands the cards to summon a spell called Sunny Sunday. A bright, smiling sun-shaped light appears, illuminating the room warmly. The young man explains the item was designed to brighten dark places, dry clothes, and raise room temperature during cold or rainy days. The demon woman is surprised by the brightness and warmth, acknowledging the effect as the light floats above them. The demon woman finds it strange to see the glowing sun-shaped light so close, even if it's not real, but it somehow feels relieving. She admits she can't take her eyes off the item, captivated by its presence. The young man smiles, sensing her fascination. She bursts out joyfully, overwhelmed by how fluffy and squishy the light feels. The young man is shocked by her reaction. Thinking she's too defenseless to fight, she recalls a pet shop manager mentioning reptiles need sunlight to stay healthy, comparing the light to a sunbathing reptile she once saw. Concerned, the young man asks if she's okay, sensing something might be wrong. She admits her feelings have been easily depressed lately, but he reassures her she's not depressed, just tired. He explains the sun rarely shines in the demon world, but sunlight helps produce vitamin D, activates metabolism, sheds skin, boosts immunity, relieves stress, and improves sleep by releasing serotonin. The demon woman listens, overwhelmed and somewhat confused. She starts sweating heavily, looking uneasy, while the young man asks why. She wonders if the item will increase her ability values, and he confirms it should. He clarifies he's talking about her health condition, and insists he's sure it's not a lie, though she remains visibly anxious. She struggles under the hot sun, sweating heavily and flushed. The young man nervously suggests her metabolism might be increasing too. He explains that in some countries, bathing without clothes is normal, but she's shocked and embarrassed when he hints it's best done naked. She suddenly pulls off her shirt, startling him. She insists she can't show any signs of weakness or illness to her subordinates or the demon king, so she removes her clothes to absorb more light. The young man panics, asking why she took it off, but she argues bare skin might be better. She declares she needs to become stronger physically and mentally, pleading for more light. Breathing heavily, she feels a warmth spreading through her body, as if bad things are being expelled with her sweat. The young man holds the sun-shaped item, asking if it feels good. She admits it feels so good. Even the tingling sensation on her skin is pleasant. The young man reassures her to keep her eyes closed and bear with it for now. She reflects on how her body started moving on its own after seeing his serious reaction. He advises her to focus more on the base of her tail, emphasizing its importance as she continues to absorb the light. She gasps, overwhelmed by the heat spreading through her body, sweat dripping down her bare back and tail. Her voice trembles as she demands even more heat, craving the burning sensation to intensify. The young man suddenly flails, caught off guard as he realizes she saw him manipulating the sun-shaped item. She scolds him for not making it hot enough. While he apologizes nervously, determined, he switches to customer service mode, shouting to increase the sun's power output dramatically. The radiant sun beams down fiercely, bathing her in intense light. She struggles under the scorching heat, panting and sweating profusely as the humidity fills the room, making it feel like a sauna. The young man anxiously asks how to please her further, desperate to make her happy. She shyly admits she accidentally soaked the bed, causing him to blush but quickly reassure her it's no problem. Flipping through a book, he excitedly finds a water absorption sponge, confident it will help with the situation. The young man calls forth the water absorption sponge, explaining it will soak up the sweat. The horned woman, drenched and breathing heavily, agrees quietly. He nervously approaches, placing the sponge on her back, asking her to excuse him as he carefully presses it against her skin. The sponge clings tightly to her damp skin, and she gasps in surprise as he scrubs the sweat away. Her body glistens as the sponge absorbs the moisture. The young man focused on the task. She beams with delight, sparkling as she declares how amazing it is to no longer sweat and feel refreshed. The young man watches her reaction, amazed by the effect. Suddenly, his body convulses and he collapses, holding the sponge tightly. The woman asks worriedly what's wrong, but he weakly assures her he is okay. A flashback reveals he created the deadly water absorption sponge to hide his bedwetting, as it absorbs moisture both externally and internally, explaining his current weakened state. The demon woman marvels at her renewed body, exclaiming how amazing it feels as if she has been reborn. The young man drinks from a bottle, noting how quickly she recovers as expected of a demon. He notices her likability has increased by 50, now at 10%, and she quietly acknowledges that once again, this human has solved her problem. The young man suddenly announces he found a job for her as a servant. Surprising her, she enthusiastically demands he open his shop there, insisting his items would be perfect for helping demons. The young man reacts with shock and confusion. The young man worries aloud that he can't bring in customers himself and hesitates to agree, unsure if he should say yes. He asks if she can introduce his item to all her friends. Holding up the spiked ball, the demon woman questions why she should do that, but he calls her Lord Fafnir and wonders why he would want to ask her. The young man explains that Lord Fafnir is the first demon race customer he has met as a human. She listens quietly, and he reassures her that if she doesn't want to, he won't force her. She looks thoughtful and he smiles warmly. She admits she can't make any promises but agrees if he's okay with it. Surprising him, he thanks her sincerely. She announces she'll head to the next room, and he reacts with confusion as she reminds him she already told him. A map shows their quarters. Her room is next door to his, formerly a storeroom. She warns him not to wake her for trivial matters and to alert her immediately if he notices anything suspicious. He explains he wants to improve his likability. She leaves, and he notes how physically close they are unexpectedly. She smiles softly, walking away while holding the spiked ball. Suddenly, she screams in surprise as he grabs her chest, asking where she wants to be touched. She panics and demands he stop immediately. Another girl with animal ears yells in frustration as she fondles the armored woman's breasts, praising their softness. The armored woman scolds her not to rub them all the time. The girl confesses she wants to play with humans too, smiling brightly. The young man spreads out a cloth and announces the exciting preparations for his shop's opening. He proudly declares his first shop complete and open, sitting cross-legged with his modest goods displayed before him. Aoi arrives, surprised to find the shop opened here. She asks about an unfamiliar item, and he explains it's a shiny gemstone resembling a famous diamond but is actually a fake diamond. He then points out a strange fruit with a face, calling it an erotic eyes banana, which causes them both to react with a mix of amusement and disbelief. Frustrated, Aoi questions how these items could be useful, while the young man apologizes and explains that all his items are low rarity, basically trash. He admits he needs to raise his merchant level to summon better items and wonders what to do with the current stock. Suddenly, a small cat-eared girl bursts in with a loud Naya, startling both. The young man looks confused while Aoi crosses her arms, watching the girl's energetic entrance. The cat-eared girl's presence adds a lively, unexpected twist to the quiet shop scene. The cat-eared girl admits she messed up as she sits atop the young man, who struggles beneath her. Aoi scolds her for trying to grope her chest again, insisting it's not just a little, while urging her to get off quickly. The girl apologizes with a laugh as the young man coughs, clutching his chest. She introduces herself as Ogururu, a member of the combat unit. Ogururu playfully poses, revealing her role as a melee combat unit soldier. The young man nervously confirms her identity while Aoi questions why she came here. Ogururu cheerfully says she came just to have fun. The young man nervously reads Ogururu's profile, noting her bright, competitive personality and melee combat class. He reflects on how different she is from Fafnir. Meanwhile, Aoi and Ogururu chat, and the young man wonders if all demon girls are cute. Ogururu calls out to the young man, who responds with surprise and enthusiasm. Ogururu leans close, demanding Soda play with her, but he protests he has work. She questions why he plays with Fafnir instead. While the demon girl stands nearby confused, Ogururu asks if he can play if she does something, and Soda hesitates, glancing at the demon girl. The scene shifts to the demon castle soldier training ground. Ogururu insists Soda can play as much as he wants, but he worries he's at work. She explains the game rules. If she touches his shoulder within 10 minutes, she wins. If not, he wins and she must buy everything in his shop. Soda nervously asks if he can use items during the game, and Ogururu agrees. The demon girl warns Ogururu won't go easy on him. While Ogururu cheerfully prepares for the challenge, Soda resolves to do his best despite feeling unprepared. He expresses a desire to talk more with demons, surprising the demon girl. She remarks that Ogururu doesn't know how to hold back and that he'll have a hard time. Ogururu raises the hourglass, signaling the start, and Soda eagerly agrees to the game as she runs off, her braids swinging behind her. Ogururu lunges at Soda with a fierce clawed hand, catching him completely off guard. He turns sharply in shock as Fafnir urgently calls out his name. Ogaruru's hand stretches out, aiming to tag him with a confident grin. Sota dashes forward at an incredible speed, surprising Ogaruru as she watches wide-eyed. She wonders if his speed is thanks to some kind of item. Sota reveals his shoes, the Lightspeed Gear Express shoes, capable of exceeding human speed limits. He thanks Ogaruru for her understanding. The shoes are shown in detail, described as a revolutionary item that eliminates travel time and makes legs faster than anyone's in the world. Sota explains he designed the shoes out of jealousy for top students. He's decided to enter the field, turning this game into a showcase for his items, hoping to be recognized as a merchant. Ogaruru pouts, annoyed by the item's product description. While Sota excitedly insists this is more than just a game of tag, she challenges him, questioning if anyone could be faster than her. Both sprint off at full speed, the race intensifying as they dash across the training ground. Sota narrowly avoids a powerful kick, realizing that without increasing his gear, he would have been caught. Ogaruru complains that suddenly boosting speed is unfair, but she vows to get serious and match his pace. Both race forward, their speed intensifying. Sota miscalculates a jump, crashing hard and apologizing for bumping into something. He accidentally lands on the demon commander, who is shocked and flustered by the unexpected contact. Both scramble to recover, with the demon commander blushing deeply and Sota panicking. He awkwardly squeezes the demon commander's chest, immediately apologizing profusely. She yells that he touched her breasts, while Ogaruru watches in frustration from a distance. He tries to put distance between himself and the demon commander, but his legs begin to hurt due to a reaction against his speed gear. The demon commander advises him to lower the gear and move carefully to avoid injury, while Ogaruru approaches angrily, ready to confront him. Ogaruru grins confidently and declares checkmate. Catching Sota off guard, he panics, shouting that he was finally about to succeed, but then forces a nervous smile, trying to hide his shock and confusion. Sota questions why she didn't touch his shoulder to end the game properly, but Ogaruru insists it's a waste not to enjoy more. She coyly offers to show him what it really means to be her playmate, promising to teach him many fun things so he wouldn't even be able to die if he wanted to. Ogaruru excitedly suggests playing more than just chasing, delighting in the scared expression Sota makes. She vows to make him feel even better, while Sota internally panics, realizing he must distract her and escape before things get worse. He nervously offers a special item for her. She pins Sota down, teasing that she can see through his thoughts and plans just by looking into his eyes. She taps him gently, warning she won't fall for his sweet talk, fully aware of where he intends to escape. Her playful dominance leaves Sota sweating and trapped under her gaze. Ogaruru taunts Sota with a mischievous grin, asking if he'll act like an adult and let her catch him or if they should do something fun together. Teasing that there's still time left, a horned woman watches. Noting Ogaruru's bad habit has surfaced again, Ogaruru admits she can't stop herself once excited and warns no one can stop her. Sota, sweating and panicked, wonders what he should do. Sota anxiously reviews his limited usable items. A pair of shoes with only one use left and some odd garbage items. Ogaruru, impatient and playful, urges him to hurry as she struggles to hold back her excitement. A horned woman scolds Ogaruru to stay quiet, but Ogaruru ignores her, teasing Sota not to touch weird places. Sota internally frets over how to handle Ogaruru's cat-like voice. He recalls that cat-like voices belong to the cat family, including lions, and wonders if this could work. He clenches his fist, determined to act despite the lack of time. Ogaruru, sitting on top of him, asks if he's already given up, smiling teasingly. Sota firmly denies giving up, steeling himself. Suddenly, Ogaruru lunges forward, shouting the name of her special move, Erotic Eyes Banana. She thrusts a bunch of bananas towards Sota's face, who screams in shock as the bananas nearly hit him. She grins confidently, declaring her product demonstration isn't over yet. Sota tries to keep a straight face but fails. A small chibi Ogaruru giggling beside him. Ogaruru bursts out laughing, teasing him about being distracted by her face. Suddenly, she conjures a sparkling fake diamond, surprising herself as it shines brilliantly. He activates his shoes at maximum speed, launching himself away with a powerful sprint. Ogaruru wipes tears from her eyes, determined to catch him again no matter what. He explains his plan to avoid capture, reasoning that since both he and Ogaruru share feline traits, their weaknesses must be the same. He insists he learned this directly from the cat cafe manager. While both look shocked at the sudden realization, he suddenly delivers a swift but tap to Ogaruru, shouting the name of the secret technique he learned at the cat cafe. Ogaruru reacts with wide-eyed shock as Sota recalls the manager teaching him this unique move during his part-time job. The delicate base of a cat's tail is explained as a nerve-rich area that, when stimulated, brings cats pleasure. Though some dislike it, Ogururu, blushing and overwhelmed, is gently petted there, her strength faltering as she reacts with soft cries and meows. As the stimulation intensifies, Ogururu pleads for it not to continue. Fearing she's already reached her limit, the pace quickens with urgent taps, and she cries out that she's about to break. Ogururu lets out a loud meow as Soda announces the next secret technique, the cat cafe manager's throat touch. Nearby, a woman with horns scolds Soda for how long he's kept this up, startling him. The horned woman apologizes profusely after accidentally grabbing Soda's legs, who is flustered and caught off guard. She reassures him not to worry unnecessarily, while he stammers in surprise, still recovering from the unexpected contact. Ogururu, flushed and breathless, admits she's never played like this before. The horned woman expresses relief that Soda is safe, while Ogururu affectionately clings to him. Purring softly, Ogururu eagerly urges Soda to continue, catching him off guard and causing him to stumble back in surprise. Meanwhile, a tense figure watches from a distance, shouting Soda's name in frustration, unsure how to respond. A mysterious woman with a sly smile and a bat-shaped staff appears, observing the scene. The horned woman demands to know what technique Soda just used, pressing him for answers. Flustered, Soda explains it was taught by the manager. Ogururu snuggles closer to Soda. While the horned woman scolds him sharply, the narration notes the surreal sight of beautiful women on both sides of Soda, questioning his actions. Soda lies asleep, drifting through a dark, aimless dream. Suddenly, a hooded figure looms over him. Their face shadowed but wearing a sinister smile, Soda jolts awake, drenched in sweat, startled by the eerie presence. A girl with horns wakes with a scream, bewildered by the voice she heard. She questions if it was Soda. Meanwhile, the hooded figure tries to calm Soda, assuring him no harm will come. The horned girl, still shocked, wonders what the two suspicious fools are doing at this hour. She stands frozen, unsure how to react. In the Dragon Squad captain's office, the horned girl demands an explanation of the strange events. Soda admits he doesn't know what happened before realizing the hooded figure's identity. The figure introduces herself as Patty from the support transportation unit. Soda cheerfully responds, noting her teleportation magic is a cheat skill. The horned girl questions why Patty was in Soda's bed, suspecting she snuck in to resolve a certain matter. Patty nervously confirms this, blushing as she admits her goal. To become a full-fledged succubus, Soda listens, confused but attentive, as the weight of the situation settles in. Soda wonders if there's a condition to truly become a succubus. Noting their fame for charm and sexiness, Patty reveals that a succubus must have a shining symbol on her belly, but among the demon lord's succubi, only Patty's emblem hasn't shown yet. She explains it shines when desires are fulfilled, leaving Soda puzzled. As Patty nervously stammers about a so-called kiss, Soda reacts with shock, realizing what she means. Patty apologizes, embarrassed, while Soda questions why a kiss is necessary if he already has the belly emblem. The horned girl suspects Patty wants to wring him dry. Patty recalls a fellow succubus advising her to perform a kiss to become fully fledged. She wonders why she was chosen. Was it because she's human? When pushed, she admits she didn't know what to do. Feeling lost, Soda awkwardly asks if it's because she's human, apologizing. She reflects on the training grounds, recalling Soda fondling Fafner's chest and then repeatedly slapping Ogururu's behind. This made her think Soda was experienced with such things. But Soda insists it was just business. The horned girl reacts with surprise, while Patty looks downcast, asking if that's really so. Soda considers Patty troubled and wants to help, asking her to make tea. He looks at Patty's profile, noting her personality, hobbies, and special skill of teleportation. Despite compiling a list of items for help, he admits his own lack of experience in matters of romance. Patty asks if he found anything useful for dating, but Soda shakes his head, panicked and unsure what to do next. The horned woman pleads with Soda to help Patty, explaining how Patty has long been ashamed of her own immaturity, which weighs heavily on her. She notes Patty's once cheerful smile has now faded. Soda, feeling the weight of the request as the captain, asks to be allowed to help restore that smile, believing he is the one who can do it. The horned woman calls out his name, her expression softening with hope. Soda declares himself a merchant and servant, determined to help Patty. The horned woman cheers his decision with enthusiasm. As they share tea, Soda notes how much she cares about her subordinates. He turns to Patty and asks for her thoughts. Patty, sitting quietly on the couch, admits she understands the act of kissing itself but seems hesitant. Patty nervously explains there is a lot she still needs to learn. The speed, the angle, and other details. Soda wonders if she's overthinking it, But Patty insists she's unsure about many things. The horned woman suddenly blushes and asks how Fafnir-sama would give a kiss, startling the others. Patty then challenges the horned woman, saying if she shows a proper example, Patty might be able to do it too. The horned woman reacts with shock and embarrassment, denying the possibility. Soda looks on, curious and slightly amused. She vehemently insists she will do it, but Soda protests, saying he can't. He panics, claiming just being near a beauty like her makes his heart race, making a kiss impossible. Patty demands to know if he's saying he's not good enough, slamming her hands on the table. Soda quickly tries to clarify he didn't mean that and tells her not to be so down. Patty sits quietly, dejected, while Patty apologizes for saying something strange. The tension lingers as Soda struggles with his feelings, overwhelmed by the situation. The horned woman blushes deeply, pleading for gentleness. She grabs Soda by the collar, stressing that this is all just pretend. Soda nervously recalls her earlier promise to help before they actually kiss. She insists the hurdle is high even if it's pretend, while Patty, glowing with anticipation, urges them on despite Soda's anxious gaze. Their faces draw close, hearts pounding in the tense silence. Just as their lips nearly touch, the horned woman panics, shouting she can't do it. While Soda stammers in surprise, Patty and the others react with concern as the moment breaks. Sitting apart, the horned woman apologizes quietly, and Soda tries to reassure her. Patty declares she succeeded and demands Soda take his turn, but he protests, embarrassed and struggling to even talk to a girl properly. Suddenly, an idea strikes him. If he could just throw away his shame, maybe it would work. Soda reveals a spray bottle labeled, Shame Blower Spray. Explaining it helps relax the parts of him that get embarrassed, boosting confidence. He asks if they've ever felt too shy to express themselves, and suggests the spray stimulates the brain with positive energy. Patty and the others watch in surprise as he prepares to use this new tool. The horned woman suddenly feels a strong persuasive power and insists she wants to try the spray. The cloaked girl asks how effective it really is and if she can try it. Soda encourages them to go ahead but warns to use it sparingly. Only once a day. The horned woman sprays it on herself, but Soda panics, shouting she used too much, risking losing all shame and becoming too bold. The horned woman, now flushed and energized, declares she can do it for real. Whether it's a pretend kiss or not, Soda and the cloaked girl panic, telling her to calm down before she acts on impulse. She grabs Soda's hand, threatening to kiss him before the effect wears off, while he desperately tries to hold her back. She demands Soda make up his mind like a man, then softly asks if he hates the idea of doing it with her. His heart races, caught off guard by her directness and vulnerability. She presses her body against him, their hearts pounding loudly. Both the cloaked girl and Soda are visibly nervous, the tension thick as she leans in closer, lips parted, while Soda struggles to maintain composure under the intense moment. The horned woman's cheeks are forcibly squished by Soda, who firmly refuses her request, insisting this kind of thing should only be done with someone you truly like. She looks surprised and a bit flustered, sweat forming as she listens to his earnest words. Her face flushes deeply, heart pounding as she stammers, unable to respond. Soda cheerfully explains that the first kiss is special, and it would be a waste to do it with someone like him. She yells at him not to toy with her feelings, causing him to shout in shock. Patty, holding the spray bottle, declares that with this item, even she can succeed. The horned woman, now energized and bold, swings her arm fiercely, surprising Patty. Soda reacts nervously to the sound, shouting for Patty to wait as she prepares to spray. Soda panics, grabbing Patty's arm and yelling that she's spraying too much. Patty looks distressed and begins to cry uncontrollably, tears streaming down her face. Both Soda and the horned woman stare in shock at Patty's unexpected reaction. Patty breaks down crying, refusing to stop despite the horned woman pleading with her. Soda and the horned woman exchange worried glances. Realizing this is the shame Patty feared. Her tears flow freely as she admits she no longer wants to hold them back or try anymore. She explains her longing to work by Lord Fafnir's side, practicing magic relentlessly despite ridicule. She accepts she might never kiss and tries to convince herself she's not foolish. But her tears reveal deep self-doubt. Soda shouts at her, calling her a fool for thinking she's a failure as a demon. The horned woman gently scolds Patty, acknowledging her might be weak as a succubus but also strong. She grabs Patty's shoulders firmly, recognizing the immense effort she's put into mastering teleportation magic despite being seen as a low-level demon. Patty listens, visibly moved. The horned woman praises Patty for trying harder than any other devil. Regardless of how she views herself, Patty cries out, overwhelmed, as the horned woman tenderly pats her head and reassures her she has done well, offering comfort and acceptance. Patty suddenly convulses and cries out in shock. Clutching herself tightly, Soda and the horned woman rush to her side, worried and asking if she's all right. Patty's body begins to glow with a radiant light, and she stares in awe at the emblem shining brightly on her lower abdomen. She gasps, overwhelmed by the sudden manifestation of power. Soda realizes the emblem shines because Patty's deepest desire has been fulfilled, explaining that each person's emblem lights up when their unique desires are met. The horned woman embraces Patty warmly, calling her name with relief and joy. Patty, holding her staff, smiles gratefully and thanks them both for their support. Patty expresses heartfelt thanks to Soda, calling him Oni-chan. Which surprises him, Soda modestly deflects the praise, feeling awkward being addressed so formally as a merchant. Patty beams with happiness, wishing him a good night as she clutches her staff tightly, her confidence renewed. The horned woman thanks Soda for his help, acknowledging his efforts. Soda admits he felt his own weakness during the ordeal and that without his items, he might have been powerless. The woman reflects that it's not just the items but Soda's own strength that matters. Patty listens intently, moved by their words as the room settles into a quiet moment of mutual respect and gratitude. Soda nervously calls out to Lady Fafnir, who cheerfully explains that the lingering effects of the earlier item are making her tired and insists they both go to their rooms. As Soda hesitates at the door, she bids him good night with a warm smile. He returns the farewell, surprised but comforted. Suddenly, Soda's device buzzes, announcing a level up, catching him off guard. Meanwhile, in a shadowed room, a horned woman with glasses examines a container labeled K99, confirming the human's identity and noting his ability to manifest bizarre items. She finds this information intriguing. The scene shifts to the demon lord seated regally on an ornate throne, casually requesting snacks to accompany her sake. Her expression turns sly as she commands to bring the human to her, signaling a significant development. Soda is stunned as his merchant skill suddenly levels up, questioning why this happened. He learns that customer favorability has crossed the required threshold, linking it directly to his merchant level. Reviewing the data, he sees the favorability percentages for 3 key people started at 0 and have now risen significantly, leaving him amazed. Energized by his new power, Soda vows to make even more people happy. He sniffs himself and grimaces. Realizing he reeks, Lady Fafnir offers to help, suggesting a bath since wiping down with a wet cloth only goes so far. She invites him to come with her. Arriving at a natural setting, Soda is surprised to find a hot spring. He detects the peculiar smell and warm steaminess. Confirming the location, Ogururu and Patty are already there, with Patty explaining it's their usual bathing spot. Ogururu admits she likes it despite normally hating to get wet. Patty cheerfully says she followed them after seeing them walk by, teasing Ogururu. Ogururu suddenly strips off her clothes, urging Soda to join them. He panics, asking why she's stripping, but Patty casually asks if everyone doesn't always bathe together. Ogururu and Patty banter teasingly, while the small cat-like creature grabs Ogururu and calls her to come along. Soda stands awkwardly, caught between their playful insistence and his embarrassment. Lady Fafnir stammers awkwardly, clearly flustered, while Ogururu teasingly points out that she's overly conscious of Soda. The demon girl denies it, but Ogururu grins, suggesting she's embarrassed to get in the bath. Lady Fafnir protests, but Ogururu laughs, teasing that no one would expect the proud captain of the dragon unit to be afraid of bathing with a human. The demon's face twists in frustration and embarrassment. Soda, sitting nearby, nervously wonders if demons usually have mixed-gender baths. Relieved when Lady Fafnir arrives, she thanks him for waiting, and he hopes she'll sort things out with her earnest personality. Suddenly, Ogururu bursts out confidently naked, steam obscuring her body, shocking Soda into disbelief. Lady Fafnir urges Soda to hurry and undress, but he hesitates, embarrassed and reluctant. She insists it would be unfair if she's the only one clothed. While Ogururu offers to help undress him, Soda panics, demanding to do it himself. Both girls relax in the hot spring, with Ogururu cheerfully enjoying the bath and Lady Fafnir looking shy and uneasy. Soda groans, overwhelmed by the situation of bathing with 2 girls, grateful only that the water is milky white to obscure everything. Lady Fafnir quietly wonders where she can even look, while Ogururu asks if he has any fun bathing items. Soda is startled by the sudden question, deciding for now to just keep his gaze downward. Lady Fafnir complains that the 2 are so quiet it's boring, while a small chibi Ogururu peers from behind a tree. Ogururu grins mischievously, asking if she should do something fun with them, startling Soda to plead for a moment. Soda scans his book, hoping to find a useful 2-star item, then excitedly summons a small magical creature called Baby Bubbles. Soda explains Baby Bubbles will soften and gloss the skin, making one feel like a child again. melting stress and fatigue while improving mood. Ogururu eagerly shows the bubbles to Lady Fafnir, who doubts the claims. Suddenly, Ogururu uses baby bubbles on Lady Fafnir right in the water, causing her to scream in surprise. Soda covers his face, embarrassed and overwhelmed. Lady Fafnir protests, telling Ogururu to stop and not touch her. But Ogururu teasingly praises how soft and nice her body is. Lady Fafnir struggles to avoid looking, feeling conflicted and flustered. Ogururu continues applying the bubbles in awkward places, making Lady Fafnir increasingly uncomfortable. Soda hides his face, unable to look away despite knowing he shouldn't. She angrily declares she'll never play with Ogururu again. Tears welling up as she clenches her fists, Soda and Ogururu are shocked by her sudden outburst. Soda reads aloud from the baby bubbles description. Realizing it reverts the user back to childhood, Lady Fafnir, now transformed into a child, cries out. But Soda tries to reassure her not to cry, recalling his own memories of playing with little cousins. Soda blows a bubble and proudly shows it off, prompting Lady Fafnir to exclaim in awe and ask him to teach her how to do it too. He admits the item is more troublesome than expected while Ogururu desperately begs him to play with her as well, shocked that Lady Fafnir wants to join in too. As Soda sprays bubbles from the doll, Lady Fafnir cries out accusing him of bullying, but he protests, declaring himself the bubble monster, not a bully. The girls laugh and cheer as the bubble magic works, but their surprise turns to shock when something unexpected appears. Soda happily covers his face with bubbles, joking about needing to keep himself as an adult, but Ogururu quickly grabs his arm, insisting he play with her first. She suggests looking at flowers, but he protests they're still naked and should put clothes on. Lady Fafnir firmly claims he'll play with her first, holding him tightly. The two girls argue over who gets to play with Soda next, each insisting on the rules in their turn. Ogururu complains that Lady Fafnir always gets to play with him more, while Lady Fafnir demands the schedule is planned down to the minute. Soda panics, overwhelmed by their rivalry and the strict rules. Soda struggles underwater, overwhelmed by the unexpected touch of the girls while bathing. He panics, realizing he must stop them but fears the unknown consequences. His face flushes with anxiety as he hears a voice calling his name urgently. Lady Fafnir and Ogururu, both blushing, lean close to Soda and ask him which of them he will play with. Their expressions a mix of challenge and affection. The tension between them is palpable as they await his answer. Soda's eyes widen in alarm as he acknowledges the danger of the situation. He tries to steady himself, blaming the long bath and the bubbles for his dizzy state. The two girls cling to him, their presence overwhelming, and he worries about what might happen if this continues. Suddenly, they fall silent, leaving Soda confused and uneasy. Chaos erupts as both girls suddenly fall into the water with a splash, their shocked faces visible as they struggle. Soda calls out for help in panic. A small floating doll-like figure watches nearby, while a caption notes that after this incident, Soda asked Lady Fafnir to let him bathe alone next time, warning to be careful when taking long baths. This world is divided between humans and demons. Today offers a rare glimpse into a typical day in the demon realm. In the Dragon Unit Commander's office, Lady Fafnir, captain of the Dragon Unit, begins her day early, pushing herself with intense effort, counting up to 1,000 as she trains relentlessly. Exhausted but satisfied, she exhales deeply, feeling her body lighter and more agile than before. She reflects on how difficult morning workouts used to be until she started using Sun, a magical training aid that makes her feel great. Sitting down to rest, she enjoys the warmth Sun provides, feeling so comfortable she doesn't want to move. Suddenly, a knock at the door startles her. An unusual visitor, a humanoid bird creature, apologizes for the early disturbance and delivers urgent news. Humans are hunting magical beasts in the eastern forest. Alarmed, she immediately prepares to respond. Outside, 3 men haul a large cage through the forest, congratulating each other on their successful catch. Suddenly, Lady Fafnir bursts onto the scene with a powerful strike, demanding to know what they think they're doing as she confronts the hunters. The hunters panic as Lady Fafnir confronts them, shouting about demons. She commands them to run, then strikes fiercely, smashing one hunter to the ground with a powerful blow. The hunters are thrown back violently, groaning in pain. Lady Fafnir stands firm, declaring the threat dealt with, while a bound man nervously explains they were hunting magical beasts. Nearby, cages hold captured magical beasts, and Lady Fafnir orders their release. She notes the rise in human incursions into their land, questioning why humans would risk attacking magic beasts, especially when they seem poorly equipped and of lower class. A masked pursuer chases someone deeper into the forest, but Lady Fafnir warns to stop him before he escapes. Suddenly, more enemies appear, and she prepares to confront them. while a tail flicks lazily nearby, mocking the unfolding chaos as boring. Ogururu beams with confidence, declaring no one can escape her thanks to the light speed gear express shoes she got from Suda. Her companion thanks her for saving them, while Ogururu flashes a victorious smile. She demands what to do with the captured humans as one falls to the ground in fear, begging for mercy and claiming he has a family. She questions if their presence counts as trespassing. While her armored companion urges her to let it go this time, Ogururu smirks, insisting they made their choice and can't complain. The two demons discuss leaving the humans unconscious outside the forest, as the demon lord disapproves of senseless killing. One demon warns that if the humans return, their heads will never fit back on their bodies, threatening them severely. The humans tremble in fear, promising to comply. Lady Fafnir calls out to Batty, who responds nervously while holding a staff. She asks if he can send the humans outside the forest, and he confidently agrees, preparing a glowing spell. Suddenly, the humans notice a massive serpent-like creature approaching, shouting in alarm. Lady Fafnir's intense gaze fills the sky as she sternly reminds, "Don't forget what I told you." Below, the humans huddle in the forest, relieved and whispering that they've been spared. Patty confirms she sent the humans outside the forest, surprising Lady Fafnir, who praises her improvement. Patty happily admits her magic power increased after becoming a full-fledged succubus, allowing her to send them further. The two share a light-hearted moment as Lady Fafnir teases Patty about being a crybaby, who protests playfully. The group prepares to leave, with Ogururu urging everyone to go home. The hungry Patty complains as they set off. Back at the castle, Lady Fafnir sighs over her workload, finally able to take a break. She sniffs the air, wondering if she smells sweat. Lady Fafnir panics, realizing she forgot to apply her post-training cream due to a busy day. She hurriedly rubs the cream all over herself and another woman, carefully covering every spot. Lady Fafnir recalls the first item she saw Suda pull out, reflecting on how it felt like he was massaging her. She notes the sensation was stronger back then, squeezing her chest thoughtfully. A faint smile crosses her lips as she thinks, if it was Suda. Her memory deepens, feeling his hands were bigger and warmer. Wrapping around her, she gasps softly, overwhelmed by the vividness of the sensation. The memory intensifies as she pants and moans quietly, her body reacting to the warmth and pressure. She admits that at first, she didn't think she could trust him, recalling his surprised and earnest expression. Despite her doubts, seeing how much Suda tried to help demons made her start listening to him more. She questions whether she can truly accept his help from the bottom of her heart, or if she still hesitates, her face flushed with conflicted emotion. Lady Fafnir gasps sharply, clutching her chest as her body trembles with intense emotion and physical sensation. Sweat glistening on her skin, her tail flicks anxiously, and she struggles to contain the overwhelming feelings coursing through her. She lies down, panting heavily, her expression conflicted as she questions her own actions and feelings. The weight of responsibility presses on her as she acknowledges the many people relying on her. Suddenly, a knock at the door startles her, and she hurriedly rises, determined to respond. Suda opens the door to find two women standing there. Lady Fafnir and a serious-looking woman with glasses named MEP, the Demon Lord's personal secretary. MEP formally introduces herself and informs Suda that the Demon Lord has summoned both him and Lady Fafnir, leaving Suda visibly shocked and tense. The trio walks purposefully through the castle halls, MEP warning Suda to be cautious not to embarrass himself. Suda swallows hard, steeling himself as they approach the Demon Lord, marking the moment of confrontation with the Lord of the castle. The massive ornate doors to the Demon Lord's throne room swing open, revealing the path ahead. A trio, Suda, Lady Fafnir, and the secretary MEP, stand before the entrance. MEP commands them to enter the throne room. Her tone serious, Suda swallows nervously, steeling himself for what lies beyond. Inside, the throne room looms large and imposing. Lady Fafnir and Suda face the throne where the Demon Lord awaits. The Demon Lord sits with a weary expression, her hand pressed to her forehead, radiating a heavy, oppressive aura. Suda comments on the intense atmosphere, sensing the weight of the Demon Lord's presence even though she is merely seated. He feels the pressure she exerts, almost tangible on his skin. The Demon Lord raises her hand, asserting her identity as the leader of all demons, commanding attention with her formidable presence. Suddenly, the Demon Lord leans forward and vomits into a bucket, shocking Suda. MEP scolds her for drinking too much and warns her not to sit on the throne hungover. Lady Fafnir looks on with concern as Suda reacts with wide-eyed disbelief at the unexpected scene. The Demon Lord chugs high-grade alcohol straight from two bottles, insisting it's meant for drinking, while Suda watches in shock, realizing she's only drinking the dregs, not the good stuff. A voice urgently calls out to her as she continues. Lady Fafnir clears her throat and introduces Suda to the Demon Lord, explaining that he is a captured human merchant. The Demon Lord, Nabura Nightfall, slumps in her throne, complaining of a headache. Suda studies a book, noting her heart clearly. He thinks she's hopeless after witnessing her drunken state. Feeling embarrassed for having been nervous before, Lady Fafnir offers her some water. The Demon Lord acknowledges Suda, mentioning she's heard of him through her underlings and recognizes him as a merchant from the south who deals in unusual items. Suda nervously denies any trouble, and she expresses gratitude for his comfortable treatment as a prisoner. She asks to see some of his goods, and Suda agrees, preparing to manifest them. The Demon Lord examines Suda's items with delight, laughing at the unexpected nature of some. She picks up a fruit, calling it tasty. While Suda warns her not to eat it, she bites into it happily, revealing it to be an arrow banana that gives arrow eyes when eaten. Suda and Lady Fafnir panic, but the Demon Lord assures them not to worry, saying she'll return to normal soon. The Demon Lord sits confidently, explaining her overwhelming power to easily negate opposition, leaving Suda in awe. She admits she hasn't seen items like his in thousands of years and finds his collection fascinating. Suda, humbled, wonders if this is truly the strength of a Demon Lord but questions the strangeness of the situation. She presses him, suspicious of how a man like him can suddenly appear with such rare items, demanding to know his true origin. Suda panics internally, realizing she's probing for information, but he cautiously replies he's from the south. Suddenly, a curse activates, forcing Suda to speak truthfully. Ogururu declares that from now on, he cannot lie or hide falsehoods. Suda struggles with the curse's effects, fearing for his life if his identity as a summoned hero is revealed. He agonizes over what he can do to survive. The Demon Lord notices Suda's silence and questions if he's holding back. Suda bows deeply, unable to answer her directly. Lady Fafnir urgently calls his name, worried. Suda confesses that revealing his origins would likely lead to his elimination. The Demon Lord, calm and composed, offers him a proposal. Suda boldly challenges the Demon Lord, asking if she will make a wager with him. She reacts with a subtle, intrigued smile, her eyes narrowing slightly as she considers his proposal. Suda commands with determination, demanding her to manifest her power. He reveals his plan by summoning a giant transparent cube covered in colored circles, announcing it as Twister, Near Future Edition. He explains the rules. Players must place their hands and feet on designated colors, moving constantly whether on the ground or in the air, battling gravity and laughter in a test of balance. Suda stakes everything on this bet, promising the Demon Lord any item or information she desires if she wins, but warns she gets nothing if she loses. The Demon Lord contemplates the challenge with a confident smile, while Lady Fafnir reacts with shock and concern at Suda's sudden gamble. Suda admits this wager is his only way out of the predicament. The Demon Lord breaks into laughter, finding the wager intriguing. She proposes they make the wager official, addressing Suda respectfully as Your Highness. Suda and Lady Fafnir exchange surprised glances as the Demon Lord leans forward, ready to engage in the challenge. The Demon Lord grins confidently, comparing Suda to someone else as she accepts his wager with a flourish. Suda's face lights up with relief, seeing a way out at last. The Demon Lord commands the start of the match with a dramatic gesture. Fafnir is called to take the challenge, startling Suda, who protests going against her. The Demon Lord clarifies she never said who would participate, revealing Fafnir is her chosen champion. She cheerfully admits she enjoys drinking while gambling and promises to support Fafnir, causing Suda and Fafnir to react nervously. She declares she won't hold back, emphasizing this is a real battle. Suda swallows hard, determined to follow the rules. The Demon Lord explains the Twister rules in detail. The item randomly selects colors and limbs. Players must place the correct hand or foot on the chosen color. Leaving the color means losing, attacking or obstructing is forbidden, and the winner is decided by who follows the rules. The Demon Lord then calls out the first move, right hand on red. She struggles to reach the red circle with her right hand, sweat dripping as she strains her body. Suda watches in shock, unable to look away as she contorts to meet the challenge. He urgently calls out, demanding her to wait a minute, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. Flushed cheeks and dripping sweat highlight her intense effort, her amazing body straining under the pressure. He blushes, overwhelmed by how stimulating the game has become, but quickly denies looking at anything inappropriate when she catches him. He insists he must stay focused and not be distracted as she stretches her leg across the twister mat. The Demon Lord watches, noting his leg can't reach the spot. while he confidently declares the best part of the game is still ahead. He suddenly lets out a fierce breath and launches into a backbend. Testing his flexibility, she reacts in surprise, demanding to know just how flexible he is, while he grits his teeth, feeling his skill returning. He explains this as the upward bow pose, essential for resetting mood and breathing, though she scolds him not to talk while in such a goofy position. She admits surprise at his plan, feeling caught off guard, but fiercely vows not to let the match end like this as she prepares to counter. The demon lord calls out the next move. Fafnir's right foot on blue. The demon girl screams fiercely as she stretches her leg high in a powerful pose, determined to prove she's not finished yet. The young man lying beneath her watches in stunned silence, thinking she's pushing too far. She leans in dangerously close, her chest nearly pressing against his face. He admits he can't look away, no matter which way he turns, as her presence overwhelms his vision. She bites her lip, struggling with the intensity of the moment, while a teasing voice from the demon lord comments on how it looks like he wants to lick her chest. The demon girl snaps angrily at the remark, glaring fiercely. Suddenly, she presses her chest firmly against his face, muffling his protests as he gasps for air. He struggles to breathe, completely overwhelmed by the close contact, while she trembles with effort and determination. The demon girl gasps in shock and embarrassment as her chest presses tightly against the young man's face, her breath hitching. He realizes her chest is rubbing against the tips of his nose and mouth, leaving him breathless and overwhelmed. She struggles to stay upright, her body trembling with effort, but she admits she might not hold on much longer. The young man, panting and wide-eyed, feels saved by this close contact, barely able to believe his luck. The demon girl suddenly snaps, scolding him harshly for what he's doing. Her fangs bared and eyes fierce, the young man stammers an apology, clearly terrified by her sudden outburst. The demon lord announces a sudden rule change. If a player escapes the box, they win. The demon girl touches a special circle, determined to remember this new rule. The young man reacts with surprise as the game board shifts, revealing the new challenge and the limitless possibilities the altered rules now allow. Tentacle-like appendages suddenly emerge, surrounding the young man and the demon girl as they react in shock. The demon girl demands an explanation, furious that no one warned them about this. The young man explains it's because they touched the special circle, causing the tentacles to spread randomly, and urges her to run immediately. The tentacles swiftly wrap around the demon girl, lifting her off the ground as she screams in panic. The young man calls out to her desperately, while the tentacles begin to coil around him as well. He struggles against the bindings, fear and urgency clear on his face. Both remain tightly bound by the writhing tentacles. The demon girl angrily orders the young man off her, but he insists he can't help it, just as trapped as she is. The demon lord watches amusedly, laughing at their predicament and mocking their struggle. The young man protests, cursing the demon lord for their situation. Despite being bound, the young man focuses inward, determined to clear his mind and resist the trap. He resolves to discard his worldly desires, focusing solely on the demon girl nearby. Suddenly, he recalls a method for clearing his mind and channels a yoga instructor skill, entering a calm meditative state while still restrained, surprising the demon girl. The young man remains calm, explaining meditation as blocking out the world's noise and discovering the cosmos within. He urges the demon girl to close her eyes and breathe, focusing on the present moment alone. She questions his nonsense, but he insists there's only now, no past or future. As he meditates, the tentacles binding them begin to loosen, startling the demon girl who warns him it's starting to unravel. The demon girl struggles fiercely, determined to break free despite the bindings tightening. The young man encourages her to meditate like him, promising she can escape her worldly ties. She clenches her fists, frustration mounting as the tentacles resist. His calm confidence contrasts her panic, urging her to try meditation to break free. The scene shifts to a serene cosmic backdrop as the young man continues his meditation. Eyes closed and peaceful, the demon girl watches him, sweat dripping as the tentacles still coil around her. Her expression shifts from panic to surprise as the bindings begin to loosen slightly. The tension eases as the meditation's effect takes hold, offering a glimmer of hope. Both sit freed from the tentacles, surprised by their sudden release. The demon girl asks if he knew the tentacles would loosen if they stopped struggling. He admits he did, explaining that fighting only tightens the bindings. She processes this revelation, clenching her fist in frustration but acknowledging the truth. He adds that they could have one if they had escaped on their own without resistance. The demon woman, sweating and desperate, insists she was competing seriously for the demon lord and demands if he really pities her that much. The young man, caught off guard, admits that might be true. He recalls the moment when he saw her struggling against the tentacles, calm and composed despite her bindings. She listens silently, surprised and blushing. As he explains he couldn't just leave her trapped like that. Her expression softens, and a faint smile appears as she thinks to herself about him. He reaches out his hand toward her. She urges him to hurry and escape together. Extending her hand, he accepts, gripping hers firmly, and they prepare to break free. A figure watches them from behind, noting the young man as Suda the merchant. The observer, a horned woman with a sharp smile, comments on how interesting Suda is, noting how both his bond with the demon woman and their shared experience with alcohol have grown stronger. The demon woman seated on a throne remarks that the wager was fun to watch as the young man and the demon woman with horns walk forward. The outcome of the wager about to be announced. The demon woman suddenly lashes out with her tail, startling the young man. The demon woman on the throne chuckles darkly. The demon woman on the throne expresses genuine amusement, saying she hasn't laughed like that in a while and is glad they enjoyed themselves. The young man nervously asks about the winner of the bet. The demon woman confirms the decision has already been made, explaining the rules changed midway. Whoever escapes the box first wins. A magical notification appears, confirming the rule change. The young man and demon woman with horns start running. The announcement declares Fafnir as the winner, shocking the demon woman with horns and the young man. The demon woman on the throne insists rules are rules and a bet is a bet, no matter what. The demon woman with horns protests, claiming she only got free because of the young man. The demon woman on the throne silences her firmly. The young man kneels, stunned and speechless. The demon woman on the throne demands the young man tell her everything without exception. He hesitates, sweating, then admits he is an enemy of the demons summoned before the demon lord. He struggles emotionally, recalling how he was suddenly thrown into this world and endured so much, blaming a manager. Tears form as he insists this is the last thing he wants to do, despite everything he's worked hard to avoid. The young man shouts angrily, blaming someone named Nostra. The demon woman with horns looks stunned and silent. She then demands, shocked, what he just said. The young man, kneeling, looks confused and uncertain. The demon woman grabs him, alarmed, asking if he really knows Nostra. He nervously admits he was sent here by his manager. Or rather, by Nostra. Her expression shifts to shock and realization. The scene shifts to the demon woman playing chess, frustrated and growling over another loss, tallying 0 wins and 5 losses. She clenches her fist in anger. Another woman with a ponytail calmly asks if she's ready to give up, warning she'll never win no matter how hard she tries. The demon woman snarls that only this woman can talk to her that way. The woman calls out to the demon woman as Nostra, smiling warmly and inviting her to try again, saying the night is still young and she'll win this time. The demon woman, holding a glass of wine, looks slightly embarrassed but intrigued. The woman suggests changing things up since playing just for fun is a bit boring. The woman with a ponytail offers a bet, holding out a chess piece with a confident smile. The demon lord lowers her head, her expression unreadable. The young man watches her, confused and uneasy, noting how she changed completely upon hearing the name Nostra. He murmurs that Nostra is. The demon lord stands tall, declaring Nostra her only friend. She explains to the young man that they are stuck with each other. As Nostra is different from most humans, a surprised woman with glasses questions the friendship, shocked that the sage of prophecy, Nostra, is friends with a human. The demon lord deduces that since the curse around the young man's neck hasn't reacted, Nostra bringing him here must be true. The demon lord suddenly declares that the young man is the summoned hero Nostra spoke of. The young man and a horned woman react in shock, struggling to believe it. The horned woman warns that heroes have no redeeming features and are natural enemies of demons, fought indiscriminately. She insists they cannot tolerate such resentful creatures. Suddenly, the woman with glasses appears behind the young man, holding a dagger to his throat. The demon lord commands her to stop. The young man is shocked, unable to see how she moved so fast. The woman with glasses questions why she is being stopped, insisting heroes are mortal enemies of demons, as passed down in Nostra's legends. The demon lord firmly replies, wrong. The demon lord explains that Nostra's message described heroes as beings from another world who save the world in danger, not as destroyers of demons. The woman with glasses is silent, troubled. The demon lord continues, saying humans were the first to attack out of fear of demons they couldn't understand, forcing demons to defend themselves. Over time, the idea that heroes are human enemies became ingrained in their blood. Despite this, the demon lord's conviction remains unwavering. The demon lord reveals that Suda was entrusted to her by the one person she calls her friend. Making the answer clear, Suda, relieved, gasps that he's saved. While the woman with glasses looks uneasy, The demon lord apologizes for her bluntness as Suda stands, still processing. The demon lord asks Suda what Nostra told him when she sent him here. Suda hesitates, recalling Nostra's vague instruction to go save the other world. A woman nearby laughs, saying Nostra doesn't explain well. The demon lord states that a hero summoning is an omen of a great crisis approaching. She asks Suda that if forced to choose a side when that time comes, what would he do? Suda looks conflicted and is asked what he would do. Told not to rush his answer, the demon lord and the woman with glasses watch him silently. Suda remains speechless as the demon lord tells him to come back when he knows for sure. The scene ends with Suda and the horned woman standing before grand doors, the weight of the decision heavy in the air. He exhales deeply, crouching by the door with a tired expression, reflecting on how everything worked out despite his exhaustion. Memories flash of a wager and tense moments, but fatigue overwhelms him. He decides they should call it a day and head back. The demon lord stands silently, her body trembling slightly as he calls her name, catching her off guard. She nervously stammers a greeting, avoiding eye contact as she quickly excuses herself to return to her room. He watches her retreat down a long corridor, pondering what she thinks about heroes. He concludes it makes sense she's avoiding him, resolving that protecting the demon realm is now his responsibility, no matter the cost. Later, he lies awake in bed, his body craving sleep but his mind restless. He wrestles with the weight of the question posed to him. What will he do? Doubts flood his thoughts about saving the world, opposing demons, or fighting humans, leaving him unable to imagine his path. Frustrated, he suddenly sits up, shouting that thinking won't give him an answer. The night is late as he stares out the window, while the demon lord stands alone on a balcony, gazing into the darkness with a somber expression. She reflects on Suda being a true hero, as even the demon lord acknowledged, yet she feels lost, questioning what she should do. He points out the clouds block the view here. Suddenly, she calls out to Suda in surprise, and he responds, startled, calling her Favner-san. Both are uneasy. He worries about seeing her after earlier events. She quietly says, and he nervously stammers apologies, asking what she wanted to say. She explains she was just wondering why he's out so late, and he admits he couldn't sleep. He recalls how he used to look at the stars to calm himself but notes the sky is clouded here. She admits she thought he was avoiding her and is glad they are talking now. They both wonder what the stars look like from this place. He excitedly finds something in a book and asks her to wait a moment. He throws a small doll called a Teru Teru Bozu, explaining it's made to clear storm clouds and ensure sunshine on field trip days. He commands it to manifest and go, launching it into the sky. The doll flies upward, shining brightly as he declares there's no need to fear dark clouds. Suda launches the Teru Teru Bozu into the sky, shouting its name and commanding a sunshine impact. The explosion of light bursts upward, transforming the dark clouds. The woman gasps in awe, calling it beautiful, while Suda explains it's not just a toy but something that can even change the weather. The sky clears, revealing a dazzling night full of stars swirling overhead. Both Suda and the woman stare upward, mouths agape, overwhelmed by the breathtaking sight. Suda marvels that this isn't the night sky he's used to, amazed by the countless stars. The woman echoes his wonder, overwhelmed by their number. Suda smiles warmly, glad she got to see them. Both glance at each other, their expressions softening. The woman turns serious, asking Suda what he will do now as a hero, questioning which realm he will save, the demon or human realm, and what he would choose. Suda hesitates, sweat forming as he struggles to answer, the weight of the question settling on him. The young man nervously wonders what he should do, unsure of his role as the chosen hero. The demon woman reacts with surprise and frustration, demanding more resolve from him. He admits he has no idea how to save the world, explaining that she just randomly brought him here. Despite this, she acknowledges one thing is clear to her. Surrounded by allies, the demon woman declares her determination to work hard for everyone. The young man reflects on how helping others was a new and rewarding experience, making him not want to quit his job. He smiles, energized by the joy of making people smile. Looking out over the night sky, the young man resolves to keep working at the demon castle, even as a human hero. He hopes this path might somehow lead to saving the world. The demon woman watches him with a mix of emotion, calling his name softly. Standing side by side beneath the stars, they acknowledge the uncertain future ahead. They may become enemies, especially since she is a demon, but neither knows what will happen. Still, both vow to face whatever comes, determined to see it through. The demon woman reaches out with a hopeful smile, declaring her desire to see a future where humans and demons and heroes, all coexist peacefully. She places her faith in Suda, promising to believe in him. Quiet moments pass between them beneath the starry sky. their expressions softening as they share this unspoken bond. Suddenly, Suda gasps as the curse on his neck shatters, sparks flying from the broken mark. The demon woman confirms this act as proof of her trust in him, while Suda wonders if the starry sky's magic played a part. Her radiant smile shines brighter than ever, filling the night with warmth and hope, a symbol of the bond they've forged and the future they strive to build. A desperate voice commands urgent action to stop the bleeding, demanding clean water and cloth immediately. Panic rises as the wound refuses to close, and the fallen figure lies surrounded by frantic helpers. A severed horn lies on the ground, a grim symbol of the violence, as disbelief and horror grip those present. The injured demon woman struggles to breathe, her body battered and bloodied, while those around her work frantically to save her. The question hangs heavy in the air. How could this tragedy have unfolded? The future they once dreamed of beneath the starry sky now feels painfully out of reach. The injured demon commander Fafnir lies battered, bloodied, and coughing as healers desperately try to stop her bleeding with magic and potions that fail to work. Suda's heart pounds with panic as he questions how this could have happened and what changed since last night. He urges Ogururu to calm down, while the weight of the situation presses heavily on them both. Ogururu, furious and tearful, shouts that Suda can't go alone, blaming humans for what happened to Fafnir. She grabs Suda urgently, demanding he listen, her voice trembling with anger and pain. Suda demands to know what happened, pressing Ogururu for answers. She hesitates, then explains that late last night they heard about poachers in the forest and went to confront them. The memory of the attack and the chaos they faced weighs on her as she recalls the incident. Ogururu spots the captured poachers, recognizing them as the same ones they had previously released. She questions why Fafnir was willing to overlook their past offenses. The group debates whether to leave the poachers to be prey for magic beasts or to send them back home. Fafnir insists on sending them back, despite Ogururu's shocked protests about their repeated offenses and leniency. The demon lord struggles with the weight of the situation, sweat dripping down her face as she hesitates. The cat-eared woman approaches the bound poachers, tension rising. Suddenly, a masked man lunges forward with a knife, shouting he won't die here, shocking everyone. The cat-eared woman and the demon lord leap into action. Blocking the attack, the attacker is slammed to the ground. The cat-eared woman scolds him for his foolishness, while checking on the demon lord, who insists her injury is just a scratch. The demon lord suddenly clutches her face, blood smearing her armored hand. She tries to downplay it, but her expression reveals panic. She collapses, clutching her head in pain. The cat-eared woman and others rush to her side, alarmed and calling her name. The cat-eared woman stares in horror at the ground where the demon lord's horn lies broken. She gasps, unable to comprehend what happened. The demon lord lies weakened, sweat and blood on her face. As the group grapples with the shocking loss of her horn, the young man gasps, calling out to Fafnir in shock. Around the injured woman, others tend to her, worried as she continues to lose blood. The cat-eared woman tearfully explains that even a small scratch was enough to bring Fafnir down, likely due to the knife used. A commanding figure with ram-like horns demands to know Fafnir's condition. A medic reports the wound is shallow but healing magic is failing because their magic reserves are nearly depleted. The demon lord examines the blade, declaring it no ordinary knife. She reveals the blade is called the Blade of Demonic Severance, forged with ingredients from their realm and cursed to absorb demons' magic and destroy their bodies. The young man and the cat-eared woman realize this curse means they may not be able to save Fafnir. The demon lord warns that forcibly removing the curse could kill her, as her body is nearing its limits. The cat-eared woman tearfully apologizes to Fafnir, blaming herself for letting her guard down and causing Fafnir to take the injury meant for her. She admits that in reality, she should have been the one cut, overwhelmed with guilt as Fafnir lies gravely wounded. The cat-eared woman breaks down in tears, blaming herself for Fafnir's impending death. The young man shouts for manifest urgently. He holds up a can of Mountain Genki Gorilla, an energy drink he created when sick, hoping it might help. The others watch in shock and hope. The demon lord asks if he has a plan, but he admits he doesn't. He recalls Fafnir's trust in him despite being human and vows to try every item he has that might help, refusing to betray her trust. The elf woman pleads to help as well, determined not to give up on Fafnir, inspired by Fafnir's faith in her even when she doubted herself. The cat-eared woman watches quietly, reflecting on what she thinks about Suda as the group moves toward Fafnir. The cat-eared woman lounges casually, surprised by the lack of anger, admitting she trusts Suda's wild instincts and finds him interesting despite being human. The demon lord agrees to believe in him if others do. Meanwhile, Suda attends to Fafnir, who winces in pain as the group quietly supports the effort. Fafnir screams in agony, her body trembling violently as the young man and the elf woman struggle to hold her down. He groans, overwhelmed by her strength, while the elf pleads for her to stop struggling but admits she can't keep her restrained. He urges her to hold on despite the difficulty. The cat-eared woman leaps forward, determined to keep Fafnir restrained herself. The young man promises to hold her down as well, apologizing for his earlier moodiness and rallying everyone to save Fafnir together. From a distance, the demon lord and others watch anxiously, questioning if Fafnir can be saved. The young man repeatedly calls out to manifest for help, insisting they won't give up. The demon lord orders them to bring anyone skilled in medicinal herbs or curse removal magic, promising to find someone who can help. The young man frantically searches through a cluttered assortment of items, desperate for anything that might aid Fafnir. Despite his efforts, he admits defeat with frustration. Suddenly, the elf woman calls out to him, catching his attention as he continues to search for a solution. The elf woman stares in horror as black, smoky corruption spreads over Fafnir-sama's hand, the dark tendrils writhing and hissing. The young man gasps, shocked by the sight of her deteriorating hand. Fafnir's face is marked by the same spreading corruption, blood trickling from her mouth as she weakly struggles. The elf woman cries out desperately, begging Fafnir-sama not to give up and to open her eyes. Another voice urges Fafnir to regain control, reminding her she is the captain of the dragon unit. The young man trembles, overwhelmed by the situation, questioning if this is truly the end. He clenches his fist tightly, frustrated and desperate, wondering what the point of his power is if he can't save her. He refuses to accept that there's nothing he can do, shouting that it can't be possible. Suddenly, a loud ding rings out, catching his attention. He looks down at a book in his hands, surprised to see his merchant level has increased. The notification repeats several times, leaving him bewildered as he stares at the book labeled Box of the Abyss. The scene shifts to a large crowd of various races and warriors gathered around him, all cheering and encouraging him to keep fighting. They shout words of support, urging him not to give up and to keep trying. Among them, a tearful which pleads with him to hold on, while others raise their fists in solidarity, rallying behind the human's resolve. A crowd pleads desperately for Fafnir's life to be saved from humans. The young man looks shocked, questioning what is happening. A confident demon woman declares that Fafnir's life was about to end by humans, but now a human is here trying to save her. She boldly states she is willing to gamble on the human skills. The young man reacts as a glowing card labeled Box of the Abyss appears before him. A notification confirms that conditions have been met and a hidden skill is now unlocked, activating a unique skill. His expression shifts to awe as the ornate box glows with power. His thoughts turn to a hopeful future where incompatible species could coexist peacefully. He yearns to witness that future together with the one he cares about, his resolve strengthening despite the tears and destruction around her. A summoning prompt appears, asking if he wants to summon Nostra. Without hesitation, he decisively selects yes. His determination blazing, the resolve to never give up clears a path forward as he prepares to take action. A bright light bursts forth, drawing the attention of a diverse group of figures, including a horned woman. As a mysterious presence approaches, a poised foot steps forward, and a hand reaches out to touch an ornate clock, triggering a moment of recognition. The young man stands stunned, realizing they have met again so soon, greeting the arrival with a quiet long time no see. The horned woman reveals herself as she smiles warmly, calling out the young man's name, Aoi Sudakuen. He reacts with shock and surprise, addressing her as manager, overwhelmed by her sudden appearance. The woman playfully scolds the young man, praising his growth and teasing him for not knowing when to keep quiet. The demon lord Nibura Nightfall greets the woman, Nostra, with surprise and familiarity, while the young man urgently asks Nostra for a favor. The young man pleads desperately for Lady Fafnir's life, who lies gravely injured nearby. Nostra considers the situation thoughtfully, affirming she can save Fafnir, but hints there is a condition or complication. The young man reacts with hope and eagerness, asking how she can help. The young man is told he won't be able to return to his original world. The woman explains that the way he summoned her was like an emergency button to send him back. But if he uses that wish for anything else, he won't be able to return. She adds that to grant such a wish, she needs another core piece, and he will be the one to pay the cost. He listens in stunned silence. The young man shouts that he's fine with the cost, demanding to know what he must pay. The woman turns away confidently, whispering something to him as he looks shocked and nervous. She smiles slyly, hinting at the gravity of the price. The young man reflects on his arrival in this unfamiliar world, recalling his fear and confusion. He remembers wanting to go home, believing that succeeding as a merchant would allow it. He smiles with hope. Then the woman holds up a mysterious item labeled UNK99, revealing it as the key to the cost he must pay. The young man is shown behind bars, while the demon lord thanks him sincerely. Another woman, injured and fading, smiles gently as she tells him she believes in him. He clenches his fist, determined, vowing not to abandon her despite her dying before his eyes. The young man declares with fierce determination that he refuses to accept the bleak future laid out before him. He boldly accepts the price demanded, vowing to pay whatever it takes. The woman smiles approvingly, clearly pleased by his resolve. A radiant woman raises a glowing staff, proclaiming that his wish will be granted. Below, the injured demon woman begins to shimmer with light as the crowd watches in awe. She slowly starts to rise, enveloped in a magical glow. The demon woman's wounds begin to heal as the radiant woman channels her magic, her hands glowing with power. The onlookers watch in stunned silence as the healing light spreads over the demon's body. The young man watches, sweat and hope mixing on his face as the transformation continues. The demon woman, now fully healed and glowing with renewed life, stands with her eyes closed. The radiant woman and the young man watch her expectantly, noting that she should awaken soon. Her eyelids flutter open, signaling the miracle of her recovery. Suda kneels beside the exhausted demon woman, calling her name in concern. She looks up weakly, while behind them, Ogururu and Patty watch anxiously. The demon woman touches her forehead, bewildered, struggling to understand what happened. Suddenly, Patty and Ogururu leap into the demon woman's arms, calling her Favner-sama with joy. The demon woman is startled and flustered by their sudden affection, asking what has gotten into them. Suda clasps his hands tightly, relieved and thankful. Tears stream down Suda's face as he expresses his deep relief that she is okay. The demon woman gazes at him quietly, her expression softening. She begins to speak, her voice gentle and hesitant. The demon lord appears, advising them to leave things as they are and focus on recuperation. The demon woman admits her memory is fuzzy but recalls capturing poachers with Ogururu. The demon lord acknowledges this, and Suda and the others agree to explain everything later, urging her to rest now. A woman with a staff declares her role fulfilled and says she must head back. A young man urgently calls after her, shouting for the manager to hold on and that he has one more question. The young man demands to know why she chose him to be sent to this world. She replies softly that it's because she wanted to see his work up close. His expression shifts to stunned silence. She explains that he's not just a salesman but someone who can connect humans and demons, something she thought would be useful. The young man, overwhelmed, repeats manager. As she assures him that after today, she's sure of it, she smiles warmly, telling him he was the right choice just as he begins to vanish. Back with the others, the young man remarks that she really does whatever she pleases and asks to at least be thanked. The demon woman seated on a throne smiles and says he's looking much better now. The demon woman with horns happily responds with thanks, surrounded by others who share the moment. The demon lord notes that demons recover quickly and that the young man's magic energy seems improved. He insists on taking it easy to recuperate, but she insists she won't waste the life everyone saved. He nervously admits he's been training hard to avoid weakness. The demon lord, amused, tells them to stop their lover's quarrel. She reveals she was the one who called them both here, watching the two with a knowing smile. The demon lord brings up the captured humans, asking for their opinions on what to do with them. She focuses on Fafner, acknowledging how deeply affected he is. She states her readiness to deliver capital punishment if that's what they want, leaving the young man shocked and uneasy. Standing before the throne, the young man declares he cannot forgive those humans. The demon lord explains she gave them 2 chances, but they still didn't learn. He admits he cannot overlook this, believing there's no way around killing them. Yet, he hesitates, sensing a difficult choice ahead. The young man pleads for a future where killing isn't the only option, urging to talk things out instead. The demon lord, moved, admits she also doesn't want to give up. She asks them to refrain from executing the prisoners, acknowledging it may be selfish but hoping for a different path forward. The demon lord smiles warmly and agrees to the request, granting permission with a playful gesture. The young woman and man exchange relieved smiles. The demon lord then reveals that the captured humans asked for a chance to apologize, surprising them both. The young man explains that Suda intervened on the humans' behalf, believing they might hide their true intentions if only speaking to demons. Initially suspicious, the humans gradually opened up after talking for a while. This allowed a better understanding of their perspective. The demon lord shares that the humans' country had robbed them of their wealth, forcing them to poach, and the knife used came from the black market. She suggests attacking that area to prevent such incidents in the future. The young man expresses gratitude for being useful, while the demon lord teasingly remarks she expected him to offer more goofy gifts to win them over. The demon lord warns that many demons won't forgive the humans, so their release will be delayed depending on their behavior. She asks for confirmation, and the young woman and man respond affirmatively, ready to proceed with this cautious hope. The woman announces they will take their leave and return to their rooms, but the young man asks to speak with the demon lord first, telling the others to go ahead. She acknowledges and bids him farewell with a warm smile. He waves goodbye, promising to see her later as the grand doors close behind her. Alone, she reflects on missing her chance to express her feelings, recalling how she couldn't say anything when he saved her. She admits his voice truly saved her, and that his existence has become incredibly important to her. Determined, she resolves to tell him tomorrow. She imagines how he might react when she finally confesses her true feelings, a hopeful smile spreading across her face as she clutches her chest. Suddenly, she urgently calls out to Suda, knocking on his door with a serious expression. Entering his room, she calls his name again, concern evident as she searches for him. The demon lord stands quietly by a window, holding a letter in both hands, her expression somber and tense. The letter lies on a table, its envelope slightly open, drawing her attention. Her eyes widen in shock and disbelief as she reads the contents. The letter is addressed to Fafnir-san and reveals that Aoi Suda is leaving the demon lord's castle, expressing gratitude for everything up to now. A chilling note beside the letter warns that the price is steep and a wish remains unfulfilled. She sprints desperately down a long corridor, breath ragged, calling out Suda's name with mounting urgency. Tears stream down her face as she clenches a handful of papers, demanding why he never told her anything. Bursting into the throne room, she confronts the demon lord and her attendant, asking if they know where Suda went. The demon lord, seated regally, calmly acknowledges she expected Fafnir to arrive soon. The woman, still panting, pleads for answers. The demon lord reveals Suda left early that morning, explaining he couldn't remain since he was a merchant. She adds that his notebook and the power it granted him are missing. The woman reacts with shock and disbelief, calling out Manifest's name in desperation. The demon lord speculates that the notebook was given to Suda by Nostra, suggesting she likely caused its disappearance. The woman realizes Suda gave up the notebook to save her and blames herself, but the demon lord assures her he doesn't see it that way. The young man insists it was his own choice to leave, not Fafnir's fault, and he doesn't regret it. The demon lord questions why he is leaving if he has no power, since no one would force him out otherwise. He reflects that he truly believed being a hero at the castle would unite demons and humans. He recalls how Fafnir believed in him and promised support, but now he feels like dead weight, unable to help without power. He admits all he can do is be protected, yet he wants to stand alongside everyone. The demon lord asks if that isn't reason enough to stay. He shouts that with no power, what can he do with just his body? He wants to do whatever he can. The demon lord asks if he plans to leave without telling Fafnir. He nervously asks her to tell Fafnir his message. The demon lord sighs, calling humans a pain. The young man declares he wants to be someone people can believe in. Meanwhile, the woman who ran in earlier cries out that he always decides things on his own and she still didn't get to talk to him. A commanding woman with large horns confronts Dragon Unit Captain Fafnir, demanding if she will allow the young man to do as he pleases and let everything end this way. Fafnir is visibly shaken, speechless, and clenches her fist as she struggles to respond. She finally begins to say she will. The young man stands at the edge of a forest path, looking toward a distant castle. He notes this is the start of the human realm and resolves to make do with the supplies the demon lord gave him. He admits he no longer has any skills or special powers, panting as he runs through the forest. Despite this, he declares his adventure has only just begun, forcing a determined smile. Suddenly, a large dragon emerges from the trees, growling fiercely. The young man freezes in shock, realizing his journey might be over already. As the dragon steps forward and he looks up in fear, the dragon lunges fiercely, knocking the young man to the ground. He stares up in terror as the dragon coils its massive body, preparing to strike again. The man scrambles to his feet, desperate to escape the looming threat. The dragon unleashes a powerful blast, sending the young man flying backward through the air. He crashes to the forest floor, grimacing in pain but still conscious, struggling to rise. He shouts desperately, calling out "Manifest!" as the dragon advances. The young man sits up, breathing heavily, and tries to calm himself as the dragon looms closer. His expression hardens with determination despite the fear in his eyes. The dragon opens its jaws wide, ready to attack, and the man clenches his teeth, muttering, "Damn it." A roar echoes as a figure with large horns and a spear leaps into the scene, attacking the dragon head-on. The young man watches in shock and relief, calling out Fafnir-san as she confronts the beast, ready to protect him. The woman with horns confronts the dragon, demanding to know why it is here. She steps forward with her spear ready, eyes sharp and unwavering. The dragon snarls, but she commands it firmly to leave, her gaze fierce and resolute. The beast recoils with a growl, clearly unsettled by her presence. The young man, standing behind her, nervously admits he heard from the demon lord that she lost her powers. She begins to apologize, but he cuts her off, insisting it was his choice and he wanted to save her. He passionately declares he would have done anything, no matter the cost, to protect her. She questions him, reminding him that he lost his powers, but he insists that it was his decision alone. He explains that he still has something left. Not the powerless version of himself, but the human side that has grown through their time together. He wants to be seen not just as a merchant, but as a human who understands and connects with her. With conviction, he proclaims his dream of a world where demons and humans can laugh together. He announces he will go alone to pursue that goal. She looks down, conflicted and emotional, while he turns and walks away, determined to make that vision a reality. The young man urges Fafnir to stop making decisions on her own. His voice firm, she cries out that she never even had a chance to talk to him. He stands quietly as she recalls hearing his voice when she was at death's door, realizing the desire to save her came from his heart. Fafnir takes his hand, explaining that the warmth of that moment brought her back to her senses. She confesses her wish to protect her friends and continue fighting for the demon lord. Despite her resolve, doubt flickers in her eyes. Suddenly, she declares she doesn't want to do any of it without him. Her voice filled with emotion. The young man listens intently, surprised by her earnest plea. She smiles softly, envisioning a future where humans and demons laugh together. Grateful. She promises to always stay by his side, and he returns the smile, affirming their shared commitment to that hopeful future. She insists she can't let him go alone on this journey, grabbing his hand firmly and declaring she will go with him. He protests, but she cuts him off, demanding to know if he isn't the same as her. Tears well in her eyes as she asks if she isn't part of the future he wants, her voice trembling with emotion. Their hands tighten in a silent, heartfelt grip. He answers with conviction, expressing his desire to be by her side and see her smile. She cries, overwhelmed, as he smiles and urges her to move forward together. She bursts into tears of joy and throws her arms around him, calling out his name with relief and happiness. She calls out his name with tears streaming down her face as she throws herself into his arms. He catches her, surprised but gentle, holding her close as she buries her face in his shoulder. Their embrace tightens, a silent comfort shared between them. The moment lingers as she clings to him, tears still falling quietly. He smiles softly, his eyes warm and reassuring as he holds her protectively. They remain wrapped in each other's arms beneath the softly glowing light filtering through the trees. He speaks her name tenderly, and she looks up at him, her eyes shimmering with emotion. Their hearts race as they stand close, the world around them fading away. They embrace again, the warmth between them palpable, his steady presence calming her. Their faces draw nearer, breaths mingling as tension and longing fill the air. He swallows hard, nerves evident, while she closes her eyes, leaning in. Their lips meet in a gentle, hesitant kiss, sealing the deep connection they've shared in this quiet, heartfelt moment. A small, mischievous girl scolds the two, asking why they're getting frisky in such a place. She pushes a shocked girl with horns away, teasing her for meddling in the forest. The cat-eared girl cheerfully asks what they're doing here, surprising the others. The cat-eared girl explains the whole castle has been talking about them, worrying over nothing despite the sourpuss look on one girl's face. She reveals the demon lord told them everything and gave them orders. The group is stunned to learn they've been appointed as the special human investigation team. The boy learns they were told to accompany him to investigate the human realm closely. The cat-eared girl confirms the demon lord chose the horned girl as their leader. She reads aloud the demon lord's words to devote yourself fully to the demon realm, leaving the boy in awe. The two girls express their frustration at the boy for running off without a word, calling him a meanie. The boy apologizes, feeling sad. The horned girl reminds him this is their duty now and asks if he won't run away from it. The cat-eared girl stands beside her, urging him to face it. Manifest wipes his eyes, then clenches his fist with renewed determination, declaring he understands and is ready to face the challenge. The girls cheer him on, but one calls out after Ugaruru, who suddenly leaps away. Manifest laughs nervously, dreading what lies ahead but ready to move forward. She steps forward confidently, glancing back at the trio as they share a light-hearted moment. He reflects that a new story is about to begin. A mysterious figure encourages him to proceed as the merchant of the demon lord's castle. She suddenly senses something and turns sharply, surprised by an unseen presence. He looks around cautiously, then kneels to inspect something on the ground. His expression tense. A voice calls out his name, snapping him to attention. The horned girl smiles warmly and extends her hand, asking if he's ready to go. Ogururu stretches casually behind her, and the third girl holds a leash, all encouraging manifest. He beams with resolve and replies affirmatively, ready to embark on their journey. A hand clenches into a fist beside a book titled Box of the Abyss. The group stands together outside under a bright sky, smiling with renewed energy. One of them calls out, "Let's get going." As they begin to walk forward, united and ready for what lies ahead. A small note thanks readers for sticking with the story and announces the final volume's release in June.